So this is Bowtie Dave coming at you from the top of a ladder. And I'm up here because I wanted to give an idea of how big this blueberry patch is that we ended with in the first part. We're gonna do the second part today. But you can see here behind me, that's the grapefruit tree. Down here over my shoulder is the top of the new grape arbor, which I'm very excited about. But I'm going to turn you around and we're gonna look at the full scope of how big the blueberry patch is that came with this house. So there it is. It's huge. It's at least 20 feet across, maybe 25 feet across in both directions. It goes from all the way over there, all the way over here, down here, and back around. I don't know how many plants are in there. What I can tell you is there's a lot. But from here you can kind of see into the backyard. We're gonna head back there next as I climb down this ladder and continue to talk. So we moved into this property 6 months ago, almost exactly 6 months ago. I think we have another 6 days and it'll be a full 6 months we've been in this property, and we've built pretty much everything that's in here. In fact, this whole property had nothing but grass, very few beds, if any. There was one bed that stretched in here. It was a vegetable garden bed and it was covered with aloe, and I'm going to show you what that looked like here in a little bit. But here is the Blackberry Arbor, and this has really been amazing. The blackberries are starting to come out. Let's see if I can get some of this to show. Very excited. They're starting to look like baby blackberries, and there are tons and tons and tons and tons of them already. I've tied some of the floricanes up. Floricanes and primicanes. The fruits are produced mostly from floricanes, which is the second year canes. And so I'm hoping, and see, these blackberries were spread all over the garden when we moved in here, so I tried to consolidate as much as I could. There's still an occasional blackberry pops up somewhere, but this is a dino kale, and it's started to flower, but these little baby leaves down here, in fact, you get the little baby leaves. It's okay. It's not as good as it used to be. I think they say when it starts flowering, it starts to change flavor. So we have here this massive magnolia. Let's see if I can zoom in on this one magnolia flower that is in full bloom today. This was not there yesterday. This whole tree is going to be exploding here pretty soon. This is a massive magnolia tree. 40 feet tall, maybe. Massive. You can see the whole trunk. It's massive. Anyway, this is the last of the blackberries, and there's some mint here. I forget what kind of mint this is. This is either chocolate mint or peppermint. I think I have like 18 bags of mint around, of various kinds. But you can see, look at those blueberries. Isn't that just exciting? Lots of nasturtium growing back down in there. I did just convert this whole back area into drip line yesterday. Still have a few dry spots. As we come up to this, the back side of this trellis, this is going to be the Kiwano Trellis. And see if I can post a picture of what a Kiwano looks like. But that mound, you'll see there's a mound right there. That mound, there's actually several growing. Those larger roundish leaves are Kiwano growing. Let's see if I can get down close to one here. That's a Kiwano plant, so I'm very excited. There's one over there, there's one right there, two more there. I'm not seeing the other. Oh, the one's got hit by the snails or slugs. We have a bit of slug and snail pressure. So anyway, this is going to be the sunflower bed. In fact, there's a sunflower right there, and there's a bunch more growing, more nasturtium, and of course, right here about 3 feet away from me is our newest addition, which I am so excited about. We have a bee box. How cool is that? There's a fellow here in town, his name is Jeff Chesser. He is very knowledgeable on bees and was looking for places to house some boxes, and I volunteered our property and he brought one out. And he does that for people if he has a box that needs placing. But you can see this is just a very active hive. Bees go in all different directions. In fact, if you can barely see between the palm fronds right there, there is a massive jasmine that goes all the way up that tree. It's huge. It's growing over the neighbor's tree, which is okay. This is my friend Bill here. This is the neighbor's tree back here. And they have an agreement on this, and it's apparently acceptable, but it is about to explode. I mean, positively explode with flowers. So that's exciting. All the flowers we have, plus these sunflowers, the nasturtium will be blooming. Here's another bag of mint. I do remember this is chocolate mint. I think that last bag was peppermint. Here's another one of those fig trees I was talking about in the previous video. If you didn't go back and see the previous video, be sure and go back to take a look at that. Get some more information. This is really a video to help me remember what's in here and be my log, but you're invited to follow along. This is Black Beauty zucchini growing up right here. This thing is growing big. Here's my medium-sized fig tree. This is pretty big. It's looking green. I don't really see a lot of little baby figs like we did in the first fig tree. There's a few little tiny ones, but not a whole lot. So more nasturtium, and this will be sunflowers eventually. This right here is my prize, my Jalapeno pepper plant. This is a yellow super hot pepper. Runs about 300,000 on the Scoville scale. Has a wonderfully flowery flavor to it. This right here, I have to look at the tag. Yeah, that's a Jalapeno Traveler, which last year was kind of a smaller jalapeno. We'll see how it does this year with more space. It was kind of crammed in. So far we've had the Kiwano bed, we've had the zucchini bed, and then our mound. And here there are 3 more mounds, and those 3 mounds are cantaloupe. There's 3 different kinds of cantaloupe. These front 2 are this one over here, which is I can't remember, there's too many to remember. Honey Rock Cantaloupe. Bought from Lowe's, Ferry Morris bought at Lowe's. These were seed started, planted March 7th. Today is April 24th, by the way. Oh, right here under my feet is my first lavender, which is very exciting. And there is the other cantaloupe. I got these from the seeds for this from Ace Hardware, and this is the one that doesn't have water, and you can actually see there's fertilizer poured on here. In fact, the bag is over there. I was going to show what I'm using. This is a Livingston seed. It is Hale's Best Jumbo Cantaloupe. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plants there. If these stop growing, then I'm intending on planting seeds if I need to. I still have plenty of seeds. So that's full circle around the melon, the big melon patch. I say the big melon patch, that's only 5 mounds. We have another patch along the back here that I'm going to be covering here in a moment. See how time allows before the neighbor's kids come out and play. I did want to mention this. This is what I'm using right now. Dr. Earth has an NPK of 463. Now that's nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. That phosphorus and this roughly stated, what this means is growth in shoots, roots, and fruits. And now, okay, before anybody yells at me, yeah, I know that's a very general rule. It doesn't exactly happen that way. Both of these have to do with fruits, but the roots and shoots right now I'm feeding my plants because they're young I want them to get better roots. They need more shoots, but you'll notice this is lower. I will be changing that out for a bit more potassium at a later point. But right now, here in the very beginning of all these things, I'm trying to get them started, and you'll see a lot of stuff growing here, very infantile stage. But this Dr. Earth homegrown organic and natural handcrafted blend, tomato, vegetable, and herb fertilizer. And they're saying it's tomato, vegetable, but to be honest, with that third number up there being 3, this is not a good general feed for the whole season. This is just for the beginning of the season. So some of you may have seen the Aloe Bed that I posted on Facebook on the Bowtie Life page. If you're not on there, be sure and go and follow the page, and like this video, follow the YouTube page if you're on YouTube. But I have never seen aloe bloom, and we're coming to the end of the bloom. We're coming to the very end of everything that's happening here, and so it's not as good as it used to be. You can see corn growing up in the back there in that bed. We'll talk about those beds more here in just a minute. There's potatoes with carrots behind. So, all right, there's the big melon patch with the 5 mounds, then the sunflower beds across there. And I'm growing Rostov and Mammoth Russians as far as my sunflowers. But here we come down to another mound. This is my watermelon, and my backyard neighbor is hoping that these things grow out of control because he's gonna nurse some over to his side if they grow that way. This one actually is another mound, and you can see, oh, what kind is this? This is Blacktail Mountain watermelon. And so the first mound behind you here is what I planted from seedlings. This one here, in fact, you can see one popped up right there. Hopefully, oh yeah, in fact, here's another one coming up. That one's brand new. That wasn't there yesterday. I see another one down over there. This thing is starting to grow on its own too. But this is from seed. So when I planted the seedlings out on the other mound, I planted actual seeds out on this mound. And you can see the drip there. There's the last of the sunflower beds. This was a failed garlic bag, and I say failed. I bought it from Seed Savers Exchange, and before it was even delivered, they refunded our money and warned us that it wasn't going to grow. And let me tell you something, it didn't. They admitted that something went wrong with germination, which happens, especially when you're dealing with heirloom and that kind of stuff. But you just kind of go with the flow, try it anyway, and hope that it works, and it didn't work. So this right here, now this one here is an interesting pepper plant. This is my Dragon Cayenne. The Dragon Cayenne was actually the first pepper that I started with. I got a little one from Ace Hardware when I worked there. It was going to be thrown away, so I brought it home and nursed it to health. That was in 2020. And I tried to overwinter that 2020 to 2021, and it didn't survive, but before dying, it put out 2 pups. And these are the 2 pups that it put out. So this tree, these are from about, they started popping up about November of 2020. So these things are a year and a half old at least. Very exciting. All these leafy things in here are potatoes. Lots and lots of potatoes. Now this garlic here was garlic that I planted year before last. We harvested and ate a lot of it. And then from that harvest, I saved a few, and we planted 3 more bags that look about like this. The stuff we planted from our own harvest looks just like this. In fact, there's one on the other side over here. Looks even better than that. No, it's over there. But these look really good. So over here is another watermelon. Here's one mound here, and if you go up there, there's another mound right there. And the tags over there, I'll have to go over there and see. You can see there's another nasturtium in here. Nasturtium are great for getting rid of snails, which we had a lot of. But this is a Crimson Sweet watermelon. Bought the seeds from Lowe's. It's a Ferrymore seed, planted March 7th. So there's some more chocolate mint. There's something growing up in it right here. I don't know what this is. I'm tempted to let that grow to see what happens. You can see there's some more of that fertilizer spread around. This is a lemon tree in a pot. And right now it is waiting to see its future. We'll have to see what happens. That's a ligustrum or a privet hedge. A round thing in the middle. Trim that thing up. Been defending it from air potato vines. If we get an air potato attack here, which we might this year, I'll have to show you that. A little bit of kinetic art. This tree behind here is a pomegranate, and that over there is another lemon. There's a bunch of pomegranates. You can see the tops of the pomegranates over there. 4 more. Kind of getting an overview of the backside, but we're going to continue on the melon patch here. Now this crimson watermelon, there's one more mound over here, and there's 5 of them coming up. I planted those other 2 mounds. 6. 1. There's one down here. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. But this is the one I planted from seeds. Remember I said I planted seedlings, and then in one mound I planted seeds. From what I understand, it is possible that these plants will be stronger than the ones that were planted from seedlings, but I am hoping to see that result for myself. There's my little agave I got from the curbside around the corner. A couple of them. I didn't have enough room for them. These things get huge. These things get massive. And this is a water oak tree here. Again, massive water oak tree. It does lean, and it makes me a little nervous. Makes Bill a little nervous next door too. So this is my peculiar bag. And if y'all have followed along with the story about the Razer Pepper, well, this is the Razer Pepper plant that I grew from a Razer Pepper, and it actually produces Razer Peppers. From the same plant, we got this Hungarian Black, which the person who gave it to me had Hungarian Black peppers. And then that far one over there actually produces red bell peppers. If that's not the strangest thing, all 3 seeds came from the exact same Razer Pepper. So this is my Thai hot peppers. Again, very hot. They stand up on end. The Dragon Cayenne do not stand up on end like that. They eventually hang over. That's how to tell the difference between the two. They look exactly the same, but one is 10 times hotter, the Thai hot. The Thai hot's sticking up. So it's a wonderful neighborhood we've moved into. It has kids everywhere, families. It's just been truly a dream. This big monstrosity of a tree is an orange tree. Remember we had 2 Satsuma orange trees in the side yard from the end of the first video. Well, this is the big one. You can see it's a massive orange tree. Again, these did not produce very well last year. We're hoping that it does good. I've been told that these Satsumas do that. They'll have a good year and they'll have a bad year, and then they'll have a good year, and so forth. More of the aloe right here. Check out this rosemary bush, this whole rosemary bush. This thing is massive. Very exciting. More aloe. More mint. This is peppermint. In fact, this blue barrel right here, this is where all my peppermint came from. This was the only peppermint I had growing last year when we moved here, and I pulled the whole thing out, and the whole dirt ball was a solid ball of roots when I pulled it out. So I literally just shoinked off massive chunks of it, and put them in different pots, which is how we have so many. Same thing with the chocolate mint. Had a lot of chocolate mint in a pot, not much smaller than that. So this Satsuma orange tree, the big one here, there's actually been some production here. Let me see if I can find some. Now, this is not the primary harvest, if we do have any production. The primary harvest is in the fall and winter. Wow, I'm not, oh, I see one. There's one right there. One little orange, it's marble size. I see, oh, here we go, here's a bunch more. Bunch more oranges that are marble size. Very exciting. Yeah, they're around. We'll see if they produce anything at this second harvest. Again, it's not a primary harvest. So this little area right here, this is some of the compost that I got from the equestrian center. And this area is going to be the 11th and final mound for the melons. You can see it gets some really good sun. I just need to flatten it out, put a big pile of sand in the middle, cover that with compost, and it'll be ready to plant. There's actually several lemon trees up in here. There's a big lemon tree back in there, and it's actually in a pot. You can barely see the pot down there. And squeezed between this pomegranate and that lemon, there's another crushed pot with 2 more lemon trees in it. And of course, this is a pomegranate, lemon tree. In fact, this lemon tree actually has the biggest lemon we've got, and it's out here in the sun. But check that out. Can you see that? Look at that, big old lemon. More mint. I think this is spearmint. This actually came with the property. I'm pretty sure it's either spearmint or sweet mint. But this aloe, this is kind of interesting. This aloe here, all the other aloe blooms yellow. This aloe blooms red, and it's beautiful. Oh, looky here. Here's some more lemon buds. Those bees are gonna love this in a couple days. That's gonna be gorgeous. Here's some more chocolate mint. Like I said, I've got a lot of mint. Let me turn you around here and talk about this compost. So we have this 3-bin compost system here behind me, and I've patterned it after a few different people. Charles Dowding from England, the man of no dig. He wrote the book on no dig gardening, and he kind of set up a setting like this where he had you start off working on the outside bins, and then you shovel everything to the middle, and it kind of sinks down and makes good compost. So we're trying to get this compost to work, and we actually have the middle bin now. It's really doing good. Just very exciting. So we're gonna go over here to the seedling table. So these tables are what we had in the apartment. 3 10-gallon bags fit across the top and 3 across the bottom, and we had a 14-foot patio, and I crammed in somewhere between 30 and 40 grow bags before we moved to this house. Now this has been relegated to being seedling tables. We have a bunch of Long Island Brussels sprouts that are coming out. Livingston, bought at Ace Hardware here in Destin. There's a lone nasturtium needs to get planted out. We got some seeds from Ace Hardware on these delphinium, and nothing's come up yet, and I don't think they're going to, which is why I planted some more seeds out in the pollinator bed. Mentioned that in the first video. A couple of zinnias coming up. This one and this one, nothing came up. So we had some failure in the beginning with some pepper plants, and these are the only 2 that survived. An orange bell and a grand bell mix sweet pepper that we bought. I think that one came from Lowe's. Yeah, that one came from Lowe's. But we planted those back in end of January. Those are the only 2 that survived out of 72. So we have started again with the peppers, and we have a lot of peppers, and they're really kind of behind, and I'm not sure what we're going to get out of this. I'm having trouble with my peppers this year. Now, I did start the peppers with good soil underneath, then I put the seeds in, then I covered it with just a little bit of vermiculite. I hadn't done it that way before. I may, and on the first round, the ones that took off were actually the ones with vermiculite. But see these fatale, none of them have come up. This is a Chinese red bell. There's one, oh, there's one with a hat on it, the seed casing. Here's a, oh, this is from the previous owner of this house. He had some jalapeno here. These are not a Pinot, and across here, those are not a Pinot. Then there's Peri Peri, which you can barely see a little bitty green there that's dying. This is a black jalapeno. There's one there and one there. Yeah, they're about to need water today. Purple jalapeno, one of these is doing okay. Ground cherry, pineapple ground cherry. Again, another failure. Shishito. Ooh, ooh. Getting some more shishito peppers here. This is Grand Bell mix. And these are Aroma Tomatoes. So they're growing up. These are a couple of that I was planting these out. These are Nebraska Wedding. This tray had a lot of seeds. In fact, I've given away a bunch already, but you can see here. Here's a bunch of what came in there. There's a ground cherry. We have black seamans. We have, what is this? This is Cherokee purples. Along here, Principe bourgeois. Now the Cherokee is a indeterminate, which means it grows and grows. The Principe is a determinate, and it grows cherry tomatoes. Grows so much, pops out a whole bunch of cherry tomatoes, and then it'll die. These are Kellogg's Breakfast. These are indeterminate. These will grow and grow and grow, but it makes big old slicing tomatoes. So this is bed 1, south bed, and there's a rain lily right there in that bag. That was a gift from a friend. Some bolting spinach in this first row that never took. This is actually romaine lettuce. This is the same thing as that spent stuff, and I'm actually hoping it will seed itself throughout here. This is a pretty good romaine lettuce. There's some kohlrabi, really lame looking kohlrabi that hasn't done very well. Some more spinach. Those are some peas, more decorative peas. This is going to be the lettuce patch. Going to have heads of lettuce all through here. In fact, we just put the drip line through here, and I'm about to plant that lettuce that's over on the seed table. But that right there, that is a ginger. It's my first ginger that popped up, and of course a few more nasturtium. We come down here to the Determinate tomato patch. Of course, I'm trying several herbs. This is thyme. This is, I don't know what this is. This is actually a tomato that started growing last year in September, as is this one, and they were not labeled. So we'll just have to see what they come out to. There's some more of that dino kale in the back there. So here's a few determinate tomatoes. These are Principe, okay, this is a Principe bourgeois. This will be a bunch of cherry tomatoes. This is gonna grow about as tall as this little tomato cage and then be done. And then back in the back there, we have black seamans, which is a smoky tomato, nice red tomatoes. They'll grow actually quite a bit larger than those cages, but not too much larger. They are determinate, so they only grow so far. And then we go over here to Nebraska Weddings. 1, 2, 3, 4 Nebraska Weddings. Those were our favorite last year. So good, so very good. Everything's looking a little wilty because it needed food, which is why I fed it today. I literally just fed it just before I was recording this video. So over here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 okra plants. It's a hill country red okra. Very excited about that. Now these beds are actually pretty deep. When we first came in here, well, starting right about where that wall is was the end of the garden. In fact, it went from there almost down to the colored wall. You can see, just barely see down the ends through the aloe. And the soil, the sand here was very rich. The previous owner had been adding chicken manure to this for years, decades even. So we put these beds in, then we dug down, cut up Christmas trees. So there's Christmas trees underneath all these beds, a few hundred of them, about 4 trailer loads, which we did the week after Christmas. And then we chopped all the Christmas trees up and they're all laying flat. And then we put the sand back on top. Then we got about 130 bags of contractor bags of yard waste, leaves and such. And so there's about 6 inches of yard waste and then about 6 inches of the horse bedding compost on all these beds. The only exception is down bed number 3 where the potatoes are. That's all compost. But this is the cucumber patch. This is a bush cucumber. Supposed to be making pickling cucumbers. 1, 2, 3 of those. There's actually another one of those on the other side over there at the bottom of that far trellis. You can see the back of the gnome. Right under his feet behind his feet is the other cucumber. And these are Suyo long cucumbers. They grow to about 2 feet long, but they're really tender. They are taking off. We had these last year. They will grow very tall and they are wonderful to eat. Wonderful to eat. The nice thing about the Suyo long is it has a thicker skin, which means pests can't get at it as easily. In fact, of all the cucumbers I ate last year, off of 4 of these, I think only 1 of them had a worm, which was very exciting because the previous year I had a whole bunch more worms. Here's a bag of carrots. Here's a bag of a mix of things. A hanging pot of a mix of things that needs watering desperately. This has got zinnia and marigold and dill. No telling what those little things are coming up right there in the fertilizer. So this little tree kind of in the middle of everything, this is a peach tree. And I don't hold out a lot of hope for this tree. I don't know what kind of peach it is. Peaches don't generally grow very well here. So I'm gonna give it every possible chance to do something though. I would love, 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 love to have peaches. This would be amazing. So these arch trellises are made of 16-foot cattle panels with T-posts, or I guess these are U-posts. More Suyo long along there. Those long cucumbers. This down here is a Brussels sprout along with another. I planted 9 Brussels sprouts and only 2 of them survived, which is why I have more over in the seedling cups. I'm gonna plant them out here pretty soon. Snails got to them pretty hard. Those are the only 2 that survived the snails. And nice little marigold to help attract the snails away from the good stuff. A bed of onions. Very excited these are taking off. So now this is bed number 2, or the west bed. And it has primarily tomatoes and beans, which is where we're going right now. And down each side is Indeterminate Tomatoes, which we're either going to single stem or double stem, which means we trim it down to 1 or 2 stems and then let those grow up. But you see we have the strings up here. We have to tie them up to give them something to grow up. And they don't cling, you just have to wrap the string around them as they grow. But that front side over there, we have Super Sweet 100s, a bunch of them. And then we have Sun Gold. Now, about these, all of these, in fact, about these indeterminates, if you're single stemming them, like we are most of these, you'll notice that there's primarily 1 stem going up here. Well, what happens is, here's the leaf, and this sucker in here, see, that's a sucker, and it actually will steal energy from the main vine. And so we pop these suckers off. Well, that's all fine and good. I'm going to experiment some with double vining. In fact, you can see this next one. We actually have 2 vines growing here. There's one on the string, and if I can get it untangled, you can see there's another one back in the back there. I'm gonna have to tie that one up separately and keep them separated. But these vines will get to be 20 foot long in our season, which we're gonna be growing tomatoes into December here in Destin, Florida. Very exciting. So this is the 16-foot cattle panel. I see I have a wire up there. I need to tighten. It's looking a little jiggly. But this has 2 different kinds of beans. And if I can get up here to the labels on the left half of this. Oh, I'm sorry. I think it has 3 different kinds of bean. The middle, I should say. It has Blue Lake beans from Livingston. Bought these at Ace. These were planted March 21st. They're supposed to be harvested in 68 days. So you can see they're really starting to climb up the vines. We'll see what happened with those. They're needing some food, obviously. So those end somewhere right about here, and then this end down here, the first 5 feet over here on the left. If I get here, it's this tag back here. This is Kentucky Wonder. So far I haven't found either of those to be particularly aggressive, though I will admit this Blue Lake from Livingston is starting to take off. And then down here in the last 5 feet we have Ideal Market, which really kind of suffered under our probably, I don't know, some kind of pressure. But I'll admit I haven't fed them. You'll notice there's sand mulch under them. I was experimenting with using sand mulch. Luke over at MI Gardener suggested that, and I actually had some decent success with it. It certainly slowed them down. We still had snails. You also notice we have these shells of grapefruit. You remember the over 240 pounds of grapefruit we harvested? Well, we juiced a bunch of it, and when it rains, those get wet, and those actually will attract snails, and they actually work with that. Well, these are old ones. I need to get new ones in here. So here is one of our little culprits right here. Little roly-poly. So yeah, I'm beginning to hear that these are the guys that can eat the roots off your seedlings. So I am not totally convinced, but I've been doing research on them. We'll have to see where we go with roly-polies and how to get rid of them if we need to. So anyway, this whole front row here is all cherry tomatoes, then beans, and then the back row we have larger tomatoes. We have Kellogg's Breakfast. That's a Tabasco plant there, another kale. We have Kellogg's Breakfast, another cucumber. I think we've got a couple more Kellogg's Breakfasts, maybe down to here, and then 3 or 4 Cherokee Purples on the back side. And the idea, Cherokee Purple aren't supposed to do as well in our hot weather, and so I'm hoping, and sunny weather, I'm hoping that with the shade of this tree, still going to get plenty of sun. It's going to get evening sun and morning sun. Hoping with the shade of this tree that the Cherokee Purple, which are back in the back there, might find themselves a nice microclimate to grow in. I don't know. We'll just have to see how it goes. So now these 2 tomatoes, this one here and this one here, are 2 more tomatoes that grew from last year. They were volunteers. This one actually is a Nebraska wedding. We planted this the end of January of last year. And this thing, I don't understand how. I don't think it's going to produce, but it is still growing. I don't understand. This is a determinate, which means it's supposed to grow so long and then die, make its production and then die. It is not producing. So it may not produce again. It may be done. I don't know. We'll have to see. This is just completely an experiment. You got to experiment. Gardener Scott talks about don't be afraid to experiment. So these are complete experiments. And I forget what this one over here is. I think it is a Black Seaman, and it actually has tomatoes on it, but it is a volunteer from about September of last year. But you can see there's some tomatoes down there. Now this down here, this is a Kajari Melon, and I'm worried about this thing here. It's kind of getting beat up. This one grew from seed. Oh, look what just came up. This one grew from seed. Just came up. There's supposed to be there's another one of those roly-polies. I gotta figure out, I need to do my research on roly-polies. I'll bet you, see now, I bet you this is volunteer peppers. I actually had my Thai hots and my dragon cayenne pepper plant sitting here in the bags for months, and I think we're having a lot of volunteers. You can see all the little green there and over there. I think we're having a whole bunch of volunteers. I'm kind of debating what to do. It had dropped a lot of peppers. Those things never stop producing, especially the Thai hot. The Thai hot continued blooming and producing all winter long. It was such a mild winter. So here's a poinsettia. Of course, someone's gonna say, why do you still have a poinsettia? Well, last year, I discovered quite by accident that a poinsettia is a trap plant for whitefly. And I don't see any on it right now, but last year I came out one day and I bumped it, and it was just this cloud of whitefly came out of it. I thought, whoa, oh no, my garden has whitefly. I looked everywhere. No other plants had whitefly. And I shook this thing and I moved it around, and every single time, all the whitefly in the garden went to the poinsettias. So if you ever want a good use for your poinsettias, keep them growing through the summer. Whitefly. This is a angel trumpet, another angel trumpet. I got 4 angel trumpets right here. Oh, here we go. Another angel trumpet and another angel trumpet. And these things grow pretty big. They can grow 6-8 feet tall. Still trying to figure out where to put them. And then we get to, well, my prize bean. Look at this thing go. Now this one did get planted a little earlier than the other one, and it is a Blue Lake, oh, it's a Blue Lake pole string. Stringless. Blue Lake pole bean. Stringless. Livingston seed. Ace Hardware. These things are taking off. I mean, just taking off. I'm very excited about this. That's that one over there that, maybe I need to not be so quick to judge, but I do notice this thing is right behind this goji berry bush. And so this may be a better microclimate. I'm not sure. We're gonna have to do some experimentation there. Here's a marigold and a few other things growing in this pot, in this hanging basket. Yeah, we bought some of the wrong size coconut inserts. Doesn't look that great. We'll suffer through the year. This over here is yarrow. I planted from seed. Very difficult to grow, but I followed some very careful instructions. We'll have to see how this does. I'll do another garden tour one day. Here's another angel trumpet. I think this is my second biggest one, one of my middle-sized ones. We got to get these things planted though. They're kind of getting anxious. And of course, here we have corn. And we're back around, before we go to the corn, we're back around to the Blackberry Trellis. But I just thinned out my corn so that they're every 8 inches generally. Some are a little closer, but like there's 2 close there, but there's a big empty spot right there that nothing grew. So I decided to leave those 2 closer. We'll see how that does. Experiment. In fact, there's another couple back there. But there are 83 plants. I picked out 41. We planted over 120 seeds. We had almost 100% germination, which was very exciting. Very exciting. So we had to thin out. In fact, you can see all the thin ones are sitting here. What I do when I pull weeds, I actually lay them here on the side. And the wildest thing is when I pick a weed and lay it there, it dries out and then disappears somehow. So I know it gets blown back in and it's compost, but it really works. So that's the corn in bed 3. And the corn goes on around. Let's go down here. 83 corn plants successfully growing. Very excited. I have far more corn than we know what to do with. This is the aloe bed, and this is what the whole garden, well, not whole, big chunk of the garden looked like. And you can see here, these aloe blooms are just amazing. I don't really smell anything, but they're kind of spent. You can see this, these were all at one point. In fact, go back on the Facebook page and find the picture of all these aloe blooming out. It is amazing. It is just absolutely beautiful. So this section that's empty right now, this is where all those peppers I'm going to grow will eventually go. A little frustrated about that. You'll notice my drip line is kind of laying all over the place. I haven't put it underneath the mulch yet, and that's kind of all disheveled over there, but that's my carrot, one little row of carrots, and then got 2 more potato vines over there. That's the end bed. Now this end of the bed here is the end that's almost 2 feet deep of pure compost. So those did okay, but I think we got a lot of insect pressure. So I'm a little concerned about those. Oh, speaking of insect pressure, I'm gonna squeeze past here, see if I can get over to the other side. This is not a great walking area. Eventually, if we lose this aloe bed, this third bed, or the north bed, is supposed to do a C so we can have another trellis between, like we did at the other end. But this is kind of interesting. Back to the potatoes. Notice how eaten this potato is. I go up here, this potato is eaten, this potato is eaten, this potato is eaten. I'm kind of moseying over, and suddenly, look, this potato not as eaten. This potato not as eaten. Look, what's right next to it. Garlic. This garlic, I think, protected the potato, and now you'll notice this one doesn't look very eaten. The damage to this one is less. I got another bag of garlic right here. Garlic really seems to protect. And then the other thing, that's an old impatient right there. It's gonna start coming. Actually, I probably should trim that back some. But this end of the potato next to the impatient is completely uneaten. In fact, 2/3 of this bag is completely untouched. I don't know if it's the impatient or if it's the pomegranate. Be interested to find out, or if it's the ligustrum, the privet hedge here. Have to see. So anyway, that's the garden tour. I'm gonna try to do another one maybe in a month or so. Very excited about everything that we've gotten done here. It's just been a blessing from God. We have so enjoyed having this space. We've built all the beds you see behind me here. This temporary trellis structure here. You see there's bamboo strung up back here. That's for those indeterminate tomatoes to hang on. So lots been going on here. We have built so much. In fact, this path here, this was all grass in the back here. This was all grass. The other melon patch over there was all grass, and we've just been expanding the garden as best we can. It's been so much fun and a real blessing. We took about 4 months to get things really put together. We had a few deliveries from Lowe's and other place, Lowe's, and I think it was just Lowe's. We got 10 trailer loads of that horse compost in for free. I had to go get it myself, but they would bring the tractor around and bucket in 3 yards into my trailer. So I carried 30 yards out here. I gotta go get 1 more trailer load while I still have use of the trailer. But this is our spot. The patio back here, we built that. The sunroom came with the house. It's just been a real blessing. So anyway, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, the YouTube channel, and like the Facebook page for Bowtie Life, the same name for both of them. I plan to be sharing a lot more garden videos and the progress here, and talk about what I've been doing. Share the videos with anyone you think might be interested, or occasionally, I know I look at the videos and oh man, that's a good piece of information. I'll save it and then I'll share it with someone else later. And it's just really helpful when you can get good information. I've shared so many videos with people. Just a lot of good information out there. Explore YouTube, explore Facebook, find your local gardening group, get involved. They do some great stuff. We have a Destin Organic Gardening here, which is started by a friend of mine, and kind of at loss what to say here. He's doing a great job. They're holding classes on a lot of Saturdays and learning all kinds of stuff. I was there once, John, sorry, got to get there more. But I really want to get back when I can. So anyway, it's great to have y'all here. God bless you, and hope that you have so much fun in the garden. Get out there, get your hands dirty, watch the garden grow. It's an amazing thing to see. It's just, I can't begin to describe what this has done for me. And I'm a third-year gardener, so I'm still learning. I don't know this stuff yet. I posted, one of my first videos was, I didn't know anything about the blueberry bushes we were growing. And so occasionally, if you have any comments, any questions, put them in the spots below, and I will try to monitor those as I can. And we'll see where we can go from here. If you have any questions on or suggestions for video, please shoot those out. And we will talk at you later. Hopefully in about a month here we can get some more video tours in. We can see where everything's gone. Maybe the end of, let's see, this is April? Yeah, April 24th, so sometime the end of May, we'll see if we can get another set of videos out. And front yard, backyard tours. I have a feeling it'll be very different. So from Bowtie Life, this is Bowtie David. We will talk at you later.